Today, we're going to be talking about what a bank does with your money once you deposit it. So, let's say we're in the 1930s. This is Julia. Julia's our main character for today. Let's say she has $15 and she deposits $15 into her account at the local bank. She goes home. She feels like her money's safe. She trusts banks, especially at this time. So she just goes home. So when she goes home, she hears on the radio that the economy has completely collapsed. She goes back to the bank, but they can't give her money because too many people have withdrawn cash. Everybody wants to get their money out because they're worried about the bank system failing. So they're all trying to make sure their money's safe, but Julia just doesn't get her money because too many people have withdrawn money. Too many people have been scared about their capital and have withdrawn. So basically they make the bank go bankrupt. This is called a bank run. If it happens to lots of banks everywhere, all over America, like it did in the Great Depression, it's called a bank panic. So this was really bad, especially for consumers, especially for distrust in federal government, because people thought that maybe banks were there to protect them more than they really were. So in 1934, in response to just a lot of outcry, Congress established the FDIC. The FDIC ensures Julia's money and everyone's money, every consumer, and every person who puts their money in a bank, up to $250,000. So if a person has, let's say Julia has $15 in the account, she'll get that back even if the economy crashes to the degree that it did during the Great Depression. Either way, her money's safe, which restored a lot of trust in banks. So let's talk about 2017. Here's Julia in 2017. She's just a little bit more stylish now. What happens when she puts her money in the bank now? So, as we know, banks just don't keep the cash on hand. We learned that from, again, the Great Depression, when a lot of people tried to withdraw their money and they couldn't because that's just not the way banks work. They don't just have them in safes. They invest them, they loan them to other people. So the same thing happens in 2017. So here's Julia's $15. $5 of it goes to Daryl. He just wanted to feed his kid a new meal, just something new, something fun, maybe a flank steak. I mean, we're just picturing that money goes a little bit longer here because $15 maybe isn't that much. But yeah, so they give $10 to Bob, which helps him put a down payment on a car. Julia's money is still safe, though. This doesn't mean that if Julia goes back to the bank, her money won't be there. This is just the way banks make money, because banks make investments in order to make profits, because banks are for-profit institutions. So the big four of banking, the big four banks, are Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo. So let's say Julia puts her trust in Wells Fargo. I've had a Wells Fargo account. It's nice. They have horse-themed stuff. Like I said, they're a profit-making institution. They will charge Bob and Daryl interest on their loans. That's how they make money. And they could take that money and invest it in more people and get more interest. That's why student loans are so lucrative for banks and private loaners, because they can do such a high interest rate of 13 to 15%. Like I said, Bob and Daryl are very happy. They get their loan. Julia's money is still safe. This is because we have a fractional reserve banking system. The bank does not technically have enough to cover all deposits, but they do have some cash to give to customers each day. See, there's all the customers. They're happy. They're getting their money. No big deal, right? So the required reserve ratio is 10%, and that's how much money the bank is required to keep on hand. This is typically 10% of checking accounts, so in Julia's case, that's $1.50. But if she goes to the bank, she'll be able to get all $15 back. So basically what she put in, she gets out, because that's the way the banking system works. It keeps your money safe. So the money comes from other depositors, just like Julia. Basically, when she goes, she doesn't get exactly the same cash she handed in, which is fine, because, that's just the way the banking system works. And that doesn't mean that her cash is gone. That just means it's gone to someone else. So Julia's happy. She doesn't have to store her cash under her mattress. She's not Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob. She makes sure that her money is safe. The FDIC ensures it, and she knows that she's putting her trust in the right institution.